What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with the weekly vendor and reward refresh for Destiny 2 on March 28th. And so as always in the video, we'll cover all new vendor loot for the week, and that includes the Eververse store, but also Banshee's weapons, ADA-1 armor and shaders. And then we'll touch on key content changes, bonus ranks for the week, the Nightfall weapon, new Adept raid weapons, featured Lost Sector exotics, and everything else to know regarding rewards this week. So, as always, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and if you do, be sure to get subscribed for more Destiny content, but otherwise, let's get into it. And starting out today, as always, we do have new steps for the weekly story quest. This is called We Stand Unbroken, but it's actually going to be the final week of the main quest thread for the season, so I guess the kind of quest finale if you like, but there will presumably still be a season finale at some point in the future, as Bungie have had a tendency to do that over the past few seasons fairly consistently, so there's probably more story to come, but it's entirely possible that the quest steps this week could be pretty interesting in terms of the narrative for the season, so definitely worth checking out. Also, there is a new emblem that will unlock when we complete week 5 of the quest, and that's the Amethyst Stronghold right here. Haven't earned it myself in game just yet, but pretty cool OG style Awoken themed emblem right there. And then over on Neptune right here, we can see the Vex Incursion Zone has moved to Zephyr Concourse, and we get Partition Backdoor as the featured mission right there. Also, we get the featured weekly campaign mission, which this week is Desperate Measures, and all of the pinnacle reward sources on the destination will have reset. On top of this though, we get challenges for Root of Nightmares, as well as the Master Difficulty version, which is going to drop Adept weapons. Those Adept weapons aren't going to be super different in the game right now when we get them dropped, but when Bungie updates the game in April, they are going to add the functionality where we can enhance perks on random rolled versions of weapons that we've got, so the good thing if you pick up a God Roll Adept weapon in the raid right now is that we will be able to enhance that much like a crafted weapon would be through a separate function that we'll get later in the season. So let us know if you'll be jumping into the raid for the challenges or master version this week. Only other quick mention before we get on to actual vendor stuff, but with the Iron Banner gone now, we will see the return of Trials at the weekend, and this week Trials will get bonus rank. I should also mention for Trials, but apparently the Immortal SMG this week has Threat Detector and Hatchling as the featured perks, which are going to be pretty good as a PvE role on that weapon, so just a quick heads up about that. Now though, finally let's get to the vendor stuff, and for Banshee's featured weapons this week, of course, the roles will change. So check in if you want different roles on any of the weapons that are here, but we've got Under Your Skin on the front page with Archer's Tempo and Turnabout. Definitely not the best role, but a decent one. And these are especially useful if you are still collecting any of the weapons from last season. We also have the Judgment of Kelgarath. This one has Immovable Object and Surround It. And then the Legal Action Pulse Rifle right here today has Killing Wind and Rampage, which is a decent role. Could be pretty good for PvP. Also a pretty good role is on the Fioritura 59, probably saying that wrong, but it's got Threat Detector and Repulsor Brace, which is actually a pretty good sidearm. Also, it's got Extended Mag and Arrowhead Break, which is pretty much the most popular role for this thing, so maybe one to pick up if you're into sidearms. And then the Negative Space right here has Tireless Blade and Surrounded, which is a decent role. And moving over to the second page, we've got the Syncopation Pulse Rifle, an Adaptive Frame. This one's got Steady Hands and Vorpal Weapon. Then the Lodbrok C, which is a high impact auto rifle. It's got Fragile Focus and Target Lock. Target Lock's going to be a pretty good bonus on this one. Then there's the Contingency Plan Scout Rifle, which has Firmly Planted and Kill Clip. The Redback Sidearm, which is Subsistence and Vorpal Weapon. And then we've got the Memory Interdict Grenade Launcher with Impulse Amplifier and Danger Zone. And finally, the Palmera B rocket launcher right here, which has Surplus and Chain Reaction. Chain Reaction's a pretty good bonus. Could have a better first slot bonus there, but could be a decent rocket launcher, and once again, be sure to check in if you want to see different roles on these at daily resets. And headed down to visit Shader 1 right here. As always, she gets some different shaders and armor sets. She's got the Tangled Web set, which is the armor from back in the Tangled Shore in Forsaken. So if you want to collect that or check in on your other characters for stat rolls, you can go ahead and do that. Nothing particularly exciting stat-wise on the Titans, but ADA-1 this week does have the Vitrified Duality shader, which is a pretty cool one there. These will be 10,000 glimmer each. There's also the Bray Innovation shader. That one's from back in Warmind. And the Dead Orbit's Fate shader as well. So if you're into the darker shaders or that kind of high contrast black and white, this could be a good one to pick up. But finally, over to the Eververse store, Bungie do have an April Fool's bundle right here that you can pick up for silver, if that looks interesting. There's some new emotes and things like that. But for the featured Bright Dust stuff, we've got the Right This Way rare emote available this week. That one will cost 400 Bright Dust. We also have the Credence weapon ornament for the Trust Hand Cannon right here for 700 Bright Dust. So if you want to pick that up for the reissued weapon, you can grab it this week. And then we've got the Heartbreaking Entrance Transmat effect there, and that one's 450 Bright Dust. But for 300 Bright Dust, we've got the featured shader Biolume, a very, very blue and slightly green shader there. And also the Jungle Viper shader is available on the front page this week. Then moving to the main Bright Dust page, for 3,250 Bright Dust, we can get the Disciples Judgment exotic emote right there. So if you fancy dropping the Rulk kick to a very mini character, you'll be able to do that. We also now have armor pieces from the Eververse armor set for the season being featured weekly. So we've got class items this week, available for all 3 classes, and they're 1,200 Bright Dust. Then for 2,850 Bright Dust, we have the Celestial Shell exotic ghost shell right there. And for 2,500 Bright Dust, we've got the All-Terrain Explorer exotic Sparrow, and the Callisto Lancer exotic ship right here. Kinda cool one there for 2,000 Bright Dust. And the featured weapon ornament this week is the Kari Sansui ornament for the Jade Rabbit. Pretty nice one, new for the season, and it's 1,250 Bright Dust. But on top of that, we have the Riven projection featured for 1,500 Bright Dust. Other featured shaders for the week though include the Vibrant Beach right here, but there is also Oiled Gunmetal, that one from back in Season of the Undying, and finally the Wayfarer's Guise shader, and this one's from back in Season of the Lost. Oh no, there's one more, and it's the Irradiant Charoite right here, which is a very, very bright shader. That one's from Season of the Haunted. But finally, there is the Dominus Gall Effects Transman effect, as well as the Sterile Neutrino and Cannon Fodder Transman effect, and these will be 450 Bright Dust this week. Finally though, right here, I figured this video is a good opportunity to take a quick look at Nightfall weapons for the week. And while we haven't seen the full rotation just yet, according to Braytech.org, we should be seeing the Buzzard featured as the Nightfall weapon this week. And so if you are jumping into the Glassway Nightfall, we'll be able to get the reprised Buzzard, and this is an adaptive frame kinetic sidearm. Originally it was a ritual weapon, but now it's been updated with random rolls, so a couple of them are pretty interesting. To look at the main traits right here, in the first slot, it's able to roll Encore, as well as 4th times the charm, Compulsive Reloader, Pulse Monitor, Perpetual Motion, or Overflow. And then for the second trait slot, there are a bunch of damage bonuses. So initially there is Frenzy, but it's also able to roll Vorpal Weapon, Multi-Kill Clip, Rangefinder, or Kinetic Tremors. And this is one of the few weapons that's able to roll this perk. And so with Kinetic Tremors, sustained kinetic damage to a target emits a shockwave that damages any nearby targets. And I think that will be one of the interesting bonuses for this thing, as it's fairly potent in PvE. And so seeing as it's sustained damage, it'd be interesting to see how 4th times the charm could pair with that. But also Pulse Monitor, as it automatically reloads the weapon. And then Overflow, where picking up heavy or special will automatically load the weapon beyond normal capacity. All of those could be pretty interesting with Kinetic Tremors, but obviously there are multiple different pairings right there with other damage bonuses. And in the second slot, we should mention that it's able to roll Swashbuckler as well. So give us your thoughts on the weapon, and let us know if you'll be hunting it down this season. As always, this weapon also gets the Vanguard Vindication origin trait, as well as this stunning Recovery origin trait. So it's going to be interesting to take that thing for a spin, and let us know if you'll hunt it down below. The last thing to mention right here though, and for the featured Lost Sectors for the week, for today we've got Aphelion's Rest dropping exotic chest pieces, then we'll get exotic helmets tomorrow, March 29th, from the Chamber of Starlight, with March 30th seeing Perdition featuring exotic legs. Then exotic gauntlets will once again drop on March 31st from Bunker E15. Then for the 1st of April, we'll get the Conflux dropping exotic chest pieces. April 2nd will be Thrillerdrome dropping exotic helmets. And for April 3rd, it'll be Hydroponics Delta, which will be dropping exotic legs. So just a quick heads up in case you are tracking any of the exotics in Lost Sectors at the moment. But otherwise guys, that's everything that we have to round up in the video today. So as always, I hope this one has been useful. And if it has, a rating down below really does help us out on the channel. Let us know anything that you'll be picking up or going after in the game this week. And as always, if you're new to the channel, feel free to get subscribed and turn on notifications so that I can keep you posted. But otherwise, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.